Hello! How is everybody doing today? Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. You guys are awesome. No, really, seriously. You guys, calm down. You guys are amazing. No, thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, man, you guys are awesome. Thank you. Hello! My name is John Gardner. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys are ready for some amazing magic because I'm ready to show you some amazing magic tricks. Now, a couple things up front I wanted to explain. You are watching a video, and I know some of you at home thinking, when I watch magic on video, I become very skeptical. And I want to assure you, there are no camera tricks at play here today. Everything you see is really being performed by me. So if you think you see a camera trick, or you see something that you don't think can quite make sense, don't worry, it's magic. It's what I do for a living. I'm supposed to try to confuse you. Now, I also don't want you to think at some point, if you can't figure out what's going on, that somehow you aren't that smart. That's completely untrue. Matter of fact, I've heard it said that only the smartest people are fooled by the magic tricks. So if you're fooled by the magic, I think that says something about you. Also, I wasn't originally planning to do this, but now I've changed my mind. And I am going to teach 2 magic tricks during the course of the show. That's right. You are going to get to learn a couple magic tricks during the course of the show. So if you have some young ones, make sure they're seated and tuned in. And if you would like to play along during the course of the show, make sure that you have a couple of coins with you. Now these coins must meet some very specific requirements. And that is that the coins must be one larger than the other 2. So I would recommend, if you're going to follow along with these tricks, that you get yourself a quarter and 2 pennies. Yes, a quarter and 2 pennies, that's what we'll use for the first trick. And on the second trick, we'll be using just the 2 pennies. So you can do the second trick with just 2 pennies, and on the first trick, you'll need the quarter and the 2 pennies to do the trick. But when it's all over today, you will have learned how to do a couple of tricks. Sound like fun? I think so. Now, if you guys are ready, put your feet up, put your thinking caps on, and get ready to see some magic. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you a trick that I've been doing for the last 10 or 15 years. It is not a card trick. I know you're very disappointed. It is a rope trick.
Yeah!
And it uses 3 different pieces of rope. I have a long piece of rope. This one over here is a long piece of rope. You'll notice it does not stretch. It's not made of latex or rubber. You cannot pull it and stretch it. And the ends do not stick together. There are no magnets, no trapdoors, no smoke, no mirrors. This is just a regular piece of rope, much like you may find at your hardware store or in the trunk of your car next to the duct tape and bag of candy. I have no idea. I'm not judging. I also have a short piece of rope. And you will notice this short piece of rope is significantly smaller than the long piece of rope. This is the reason why I refer to it as the short piece of rope. I also have a medium piece of rope. And you will notice the medium piece of rope is much longer than the short piece of rope, but it is much shorter than the long piece of rope. This is the reason why I call it the medium piece of rope. That is the long piece of rope. That is the medium piece of rope. And this one over here is the short piece of rope. And on a good day, I can make all 3 of these ropes look exactly the same length. Watch. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3 pieces of rope, all different lengths a moment ago, now all exactly the same length. And I think I explained to you, this is a short one, this one was the medium one, and this one was the long one.
That's great!
Now this gives me a problem, because people will often ask me, what can you do with 3 pieces of rope of the same length? And the honest answer is nothing. But I do know one really cool rope trick with 1 really long piece of rope.
Great Caesar's ghost!
I know. Woo! Woo! Okay, that's a different show and you haven't paid for this. Now watch carefully as I isolate the ends for you over here. I isolate the ends over here, and if you watch carefully, I can actually pluck the ends right off the rope.
No way!
Now this leaves me with a loop of rope with no ends and ends with no rope. It's a very strange situation to be in. I'll put these over here for just one moment. We'll get back to those in just a second. Because I'm a professional, I always carry extra ends. I keep the extra ends in my pocket over here. If I reach inside my pocket, I grab the extra ends, I can take them out, I can squish them right on the rope, and that leaves me one rope and two ends completely restored.
Ah, you don't see that every day.
Now a lot of people will ask me, John, they'll say, what can you do or how do you make the ends of the rope stick together? It's a great question. Static. That's right. If you have a cheap coat like this and you rub on the sleeve here, it will build up static. And if you rub on the sleeve here, it will build up static on this end. And as they pass by each other, they go right back together again, leaving one loop of rope and no ends. Now this is important because I have extra ends over here. It's always important to have extra ends. Watch carefully. If I take the ends and I loop them on top of the rope just like this forms a perfect illusion. It looks like those little ends are laying on top of the rope. And if I just pull just a little bit, you will notice that those ends melt right back onto the rope.
Ooh.
Now, does anyone here remember how all this nonsense got started? A moment ago, we had 2 ropes, exactly the same length, and a third one over here. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3 ropes. I think I explained to you that this one over here was a short one, this one over here was the medium one, and this one over here was the long one. But this would not be a real magic trick unless these went back the way they were. Back the way they were, that's the 1, 2, and 3, little snap, just like that. They all go back exactly the way they were. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a long piece of rope. That is the medium piece of rope. And that is the embarrassing piece of rope.
Very good.
That's the little thing I call a rope trick. Does anyone here have any irrational fears? Things that they're afraid of, but they don't truly understand why they're afraid of them? No? Maybe? Possibly spiders?
Ew.
Clowns?
Ew.
Snakes?
Ew.
Heights? Tight spaces? Any of those things scare anybody for reasons they don't fully understand?
Oh, yeah.
The reason I ask this is because when I was very young, I had 2 specific fears. One was loud noises, and the other was sharp objects. So I came up with this next trick to help me overcome my fear of loud noises and sharp objects. And I keep the loud noise over here in my pocket. For the first time, I would like to introduce to all of you the loud noise. Here it is, the loud noise. Okay, that wasn't that loud. Here we go. Here it comes. This balloon is going to represent our loud noise. Look! It's a weapon of mass destruction. It's a balloon full of death! Okay, that's not true. It is, however, a loud noise. Ladies and gentlemen, the loud noise. Okay, that's not that loud, but it's incredibly annoying. Somebody step on a frog?
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the balloon. I also have over here a magic wand. And you can see it's not a normal magic wand because there are 2 strings coming out the end. And that's because attached to those 2 strings inside the magic wand happens to be a razor sharp needle. I know. Now you are very safe at home. However, it is very, very sharp. Watch. I'll prove it. Ow, 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 ow. See, it's very sharp.
Silly, ain't he?
That's the needle. This is the balloon. Watch carefully. And now out the other side. The needle and the balloon.
Ooh.
Anyone ever played this game before? It's a fun game. I can do that all day long. And on occasion I have. Because apparently John's a lonely guy. That's the needle. That's the balloon. Thank you very much. Anybody that knows me knows that I love card tricks. And I thought, you can't have a magic show without a card trick. But then I was thinking, how is it that you plan to do a card trick when there aren't any people around? Because normally a card trick is pick a card, put it back, look at it, memorize it, and then I would find the card in some interesting way. We can't do that because we're not physically in the room with each other. And so I thought, what can I do as a card trick that would be amazing, but require nothing from you but to watch? And so this is what I came up with. Now we're going to switch camera angles in just a moment so you guys can see this a little bit closer up, because it might be a little bit hard to see the cards, and I don't want the glare to interfere because it's going to become super important that you be able to see the faces of the card in just a few moments. So just bear with us. We're going to switch camera angles for 1 second, and then we'll get right back to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to share with you a card trick. Now these cards are very special. These cards have no faces and they have no backs. This is what cards look like before they are born. Now a lot of people ask me, what can you do with cards with no faces and no backs? The simple answer is magic. Watch.
Ah, you don't see that every day.
You see? And a card magically appears. Now that 4 of clubs is not a real card. And I know it's not a real card because you can never do this to a real card.
Good.
They simply won't stand for it. Now, if I want a card, all I have to do is snap my fingers, cut the cards, and I get a card.
Ooh.
Now that is also not real. It looks real, feels real, but it has no back. Everybody knows real cards have backs.
Yep.
Watch, I put the card over here like this, and then I push. Yeah, just like that. And then if I push hard enough, I will get a back. Sometimes. Sometimes magic isn't perfect, and I push too hard, and the back goes down here to the bottom. That could happen. Think about it, it just did. Not real. Now, if you're going to play cards with me, not that you would at this point, but if you're going to play cards with me, we need a lot more cards than the 2 cards you've seen so far. So I would cut the cards, I'd get a card. I'd cut the cards, I'd get a card. That's card number 3, that's card number 4, and that is card number 5. Although I'm starting to wonder where all the cards are coming from. Now, if I want all the cards at exactly the same time, I just snap my fingers like this. I cast a shadow over the cards like that. And it's the shadow that does it. And then I get every single card in the deck just like that. And not just the faces, but the backs too. Which would have been weird if I got the faces and not the backs. Don't you guys agree? You know what the hardest part of this trick is? Getting back where I started from. That's the hard part, but I think I've pulled it off rather nicely.
Ah, you don't see that every day.
I don't know about you, but I think I need a nap. One of the questions I get asked all the time as a magician is, how do I learn so many tricks? But a question I get asked even more than that is, will you teach me how to do a trick? And I thought it'd be kind of fun today if I showed you guys a trick, and then if you liked it, then I would show you how it was done. Sound fun?
Yes!
Perfect. It uses a little blue hanky. I keep a little blue hanky in my pocket. Uses the hanky in my right hand. Now watch carefully, because the hanky is going to go through my hand, and as it goes through my hand, it's going to go through a change. You see, it's going to go on the top of my hand, blue, and it's going to come out the bottom of my hand, yellow. It's going to go in blue and out yellow. In blue, out yellow. Now you will notice that the more the blue one I push in, the more the yellow one I can pull out. Until eventually the blue one will be all the way down inside my hand. Then I can pull the yellow one out and I can show you this hand is completely empty.
Well, whistle me Dixie.
Who here would like to learn how to do that trick? I will explain. You see, it uses 2 handkerchiefs. I know, right? Who would have thought? See, I keep one handkerchief over here in my hand all the time. That's where the blue one is all the time.
Ooh.
You just can't see it because I squeeze it down very, very small.
Wow.
This sounds crazy, but it's true. I'll explain how this happens. You see, before the show, I'm at home, looking at myself in the mirror. That's normal. I run the little blue hanky through my hand. I tuck it down inside. Now, as I'm tucking it down inside my hand, I'm squeezing it very tightly. This is making the handkerchief very small. And once it's all the way down inside my hand, I get one last squeeze, and then I can open my hand and you can't see it.
Whoa.
Not because it's not there, but because it's very small. It's right there. And you can't see it. Plus, then I distract you with the other handkerchief.
Wow.
Do you see how distracting this is? Then I run the handkerchief through my hand like this, and I push it in the top. Now, as I push it in the top, I have to pull the other handkerchief out because there is no way, no matter how hard I squeeze, there is no way for me to hide 2 handkerchiefs in my hand without you seeing them. So I have to pull the blue one out before the yellow one's all the way in. Yes, in yellow, out blue. In yellow, out blue. In yellow, out blue. Now, if you're at home doing this for your friends, you never want to pull the blue one all the way out before the yellow one's all the way in. This is bad because this will let people know that you're working with 2. I know. If it happens though, and it could happen, just tuck the blue hanky over here between your ring finger and your little finger. No one ever notices this little piece right here. Don't worry about that. No one ever sees it. And then continue tucking the yellow one in like nothing ever happened. And once the yellow one's all the way in, you can show this hand empty. You can show this hand empty. And you can bow to your thunderous applause.
Oh, yeah.
And now you know how that's done. You can go home, work on it, and show your friends. And if you don't have any friends, well, then I would suggest you go home and work on that. I would like to share with you something completely different. Close-up magic. Close-up magic. Something that's meant to be seen right under your nose. Now, as I move closer, you'll notice that my head gets cut off, which will make this performance that much better. But it's important that we're close, so you can see everything at close range. Now, it does use a couple of props. I have a pen over here in my pocket. This is a magic marker. Keyword, magic. Now, it is not the marker that is important. That goes under my arm for just 1 second. What is important is my ring. This is my wedding ring. It goes into my hand here. I tap it once like this with the pen. I give a little rub like this, and that ring jumps from my hand back over here onto my finger where it was just a moment ago. Now that happened kind of fast, so I'll do it again. Watch, the ring goes into my hand. I tap it once, I tap it twice. I give a little rub like this, and the pen jumps into my hand. And that must mean that the ring is under my armpit. Now that brings into question, how did the ring get under the armpit? Or a better question, where is my pen? And if you didn't see the pen disappear, you probably won't see the ring disappear and reappear back on your page. 1, 2, 3, 4. I would like to share with you another piece of close-up magic. It is a coin trick. And I always liked coin tricks because they were always readily available around the house. You could always find some laying around. You could always do some magic with them. Now these are a little different than the ones that were laying around my house because these are Morgan silver dollars. There are 3 of them. And I'm going to make them travel from my right hand here to my left hand here. And it's going to happen right at the fingertips. Did you see it go?
No way!
That was the first one. Now you're going to be paying much more close attention here on the second one. Now here's the problem with the second one. You don't know whether to focus your attention here or focus your attention here. And it's the moment you don't know where to focus your attention is the moment the magic happens. And now the third one will happen in slow motion. You may see it go. Do you see it go? Are you seeing it getting there? And now it has arrived.
Silly, ain't he?
3 coins from one fingertip to the other. Now no one ever likes that last one, so I always make sure I do it twice. From here to here, now watch. Boop. Just like that.
Wow.
That's 3 coins that travel from hand to hand at the fingertips. And now they will travel from my hand into my pocket. Did you hear them fall into the pocket? If I get a little snap like this, 1 coin will jump back over here from the pocket into my hand.
Wow.
That's 1 coin that was in my pocket a moment ago, now back in the hand. That's 1, and that's number 2. That's 2 coins that were in my pocket, now back in my hand. And that over there is number 3. 3 coins. 1, 2, 3 coins that were in the pocket, now back in my hand. And if I give a little, take 2 out, I give a little wave like this, 1 will jump back into the pocket. This one goes here. I use this one like a magic wand. I wave like this, and this one also goes back into the pocket. You'll actually see the third one go into the pocket. Watch carefully. Do you see it go? Did you hear it arrive? And you had a snap, and it comes right back over here into my hand.
Wow.
Watch carefully. One more time. Boop. Just like this. I give a little squeeze like this, and that coin completely disappears and goes back over here into my pocket. Ladies and gentlemen, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3 coins traveling from my pocket back into my hand, and from my hand back into my pocket. I'm back. I just wanted to come back for a few moments right before the very last trick of the show to tell all of you how truly wonderful I think it is that you tuned in and allowed me to come into your home via the video to perform some magic for you. Now, the very last trick of the show that you're getting ready to see is a piece that I have done at every kids show I have performed at for the last 10 years or so. It is pure silliness. And I hope as we leave here today that this would leave you with a little bit of joy in your hearts, so to speak. Thank you again for tuning in. Please, ladies and gentlemen, for the last trick this evening, I thought it would be kind of fun if you guys at home got to learn how I learned how to do magic tricks. So today, I brought a trick with me. I brought all the props and all the materials, and all you have to do is sit, watch, listen, and learn. And when you're done here today, you will have learned how I learned how to do magic tricks. Listen carefully. Here come the instructions.
Hello, magician, and thank you for placing this order with the Atlas Magic Company. We hope you enjoy your mail-order magic trick lesson. This lesson is called The Mystery of the Vanishing Bandana. For this trick, you will need to get two props. One is a square of darkly colored fabric, and the other is a yellow bandana. First, pick up the bandana. Now fold the bandana in half. That's right, fold it in half. Now fold it one more time. Take the folded bandana and hide it in your left hand with the palm facing down. Remember to keep your hand in a natural position. You have just learned palming. That's what this move is called.
That's what it's called.
Now we are ready to begin.
We are.
Open up the folded bandana and show the audience it's just a regular bandana by waving it up and down. If someone in the audience does not believe it is a real bandana, allow them to wipe their face on it. Now place the bandana temporarily on the table and pick up the dark square fabric and gather the four corners together, making what looks like a little bag.
A little bag. A little bag.
Using your left hand, now pick up the bandana from the table and fold it along the creases you made earlier. Now drop the bandana into the folds of the makeshift bag.
Into the bag.
From the outside of the makeshift bag, squeeze the bandana into a small little ball. Go ahead, squeeze it hard.
That's disgusting. Completely uncalled for.
What the audience did not see is that you never really put the bandana in the fabric at all. You really kept it hidden in your left hand. Remember palming?
Palming.
Again, remember to keep your left hand held naturally. Now make a magical gesture. And for your grand finale, open the fabric, showing the bandana has vanished, and receive your well-deserved applause. Remember, we magicians never tell how our tricks are done.
You guys can't tell anybody how we did that. Keep it a complete secret. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.